So Norwich, they're down, hat-trick for Antonio. Like I said, they never really got going. Timu Pukki, meant to hit the ground running, and he just didn't. He did it. He did start
he peaked,
well, but
didn't
he
peaked
faded
early
off.
on.
Yeah. He I know he scored against us at our place. He took it well. Good finisher. I think in the right team he might flourish.
Feed the Pook and he will score.
How old is he now? Is he 20? Is he 29?
Yeah, he's not young. He's been around for a while.
Yeah, he's getting on. I don't think he's cut out for the Premier League.
I think fair play to West Ham. I think they're in the thick of a relegation battle, and they turned up big time at Carrow Road. Say Antonio got a hat trick. He scored all four. I mean, he morphed. He evolved like a Bulbasaur into Didier Drogba. That's all I can say.
For a striker that has been around in the Premier League for a while, I was surprised it was his first.
Would you call him a striker though?
Probably
no, he's sort of one of those players, isn't he? He plays fullback. He's on the wing. I think he's just one of them. He's big. He's quick. He's strong. Stick him up, and he can be an handful wherever he plays. I don't think he's blessed with great quality. To be honest with you, I think he's just one of them. You stick him up there, and on his day, which it was against Norwich, on his day he can be a handful for any defence. And
he grafts.
Oh yeah, you can't fault his work rate. You can't fault his work rate.
He's a cult hero at West Ham. I think. He was at Forest.
He was. I remember very many years ago when he was at West Ham. No, not West Ham. Sorry, Reading. Years ago. We're going back 10 years. Yeah. And he came. Yeah.
He's come on a fair bit since that. But
big rise.
Do you think he's going to get a contract? Well, get an extension, should I say?
If he keeps West Ham up, I think he's achieved all he could have done. I think you look on paper, West Ham, they are a good team. I mean, there's a good squad there. Is he the man to take them forward?
I don't think so.
But who is? I mean, it's pretty of a toxic club. I mean, it's a good club. It's a big club. But the fans, there's not a good relationship, is there, really, between the powers that be and the fans?
So
Norwich.
Norwich
was... give the Canaries some love. Let's give the Canaries a bit of love.
Okay, we'll give you... for you Canaries fans, we'll give you a bit of love. Seeing as you took 4 points.
I mean, they're down,
this season.
But I believe they stick with Daniel Farker and they believe in the process. I think they'll be back pretty soon.
They've got a young squad, haven't they?
They can hold on to.
I think it was a little bit too soon.
Nice.
You look at it was a very young side, maybe a little bit inexperienced. I don't think it was a case of lacking quality. I think it was more of a case of a lot of inexperience, and some of them not quite at the top of the game. Not reaching that potential that they could get to.
I think for me, the worry for Norwich fans now is how do they hold on to a Max Aarons, Jamal Lowe, a Todd Cantwell, not Jamal Lowe, Jamal Lewis, sorry, a Todd Cantwell. How do they hold an Emi Buendia? How do they hold on to these players?
Well, there's rumours. I think I've seen somewhere that he's already been touted by a club overseas. That's the one. Yeah. So I think there's definitely concern that's going to happen. Like I've said before, off stream, loyalty in football. There's none of it. And even as Leicester fans, we know, a big club comes around.
Doesn't matter what you're doing, what you've achieved. You won the league, and your best player goes to a team that finished 10th. But there we go. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, they want to move on, and fair play to them. I suppose if you've got no ties to a club, I'm a Leicester fan. If I'm at Nottingham Forest and Chelsea come calling, you're going to want to go, aren't you?
So, if Nottingham Forest and Tranmere come calling, you want to fucking go.
Sunday League football comes, I think.
But Norwich, I'm sure you'll be back, and good luck in the Championship. Decent club, inoffensive club, never did anyone to anything. I hope to see you back soon. Right, now we can move on.
Offered at home to Newcastle.
Big Nigel Pearson, Craig Shakespeare, masterclass.
Big Nige. So Newcastle did they take the lead?
Yeah, Newcastle took the lead. I think it was from a corner. Dwight Gale got on the end of it, sneaked in. Remember Dwight Gale? Does it in the Championship, can never do it in the Premier League. A bit like David Nugent.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
like a David Nugent, but no, he's managed. I think he's on a bit of form at the moment. I think it's 3 goals in 5 for Dwight Gale, so he's done well since he's came back after the lockdown. I think Newcastle in general have done well since the lockdown, but I think now they're at a place where they're safe and they can't. I think European football's out of the question and they're not going down, so they're on the beach.
Yeah, I think Steve Bruce, he gets a lot of unwarranted stick. I think he's He's not your classy modern day
Oh
manager.
no,
He's not your Brendan
he
Rodgers,
doesn't
so to
excite you,
speak.
does he? When you hear Steve Bruce is coming, you
No,
don't get excited.
his football's probably not the best. But as a manager, I know he's not smashed any pots, but he's done well at Newcastle so far this season, and that's from a neutral point of view. I know a lot of Newcastle fans will disagree with me. They probably don't want him in charge.
What do they expect this season? Even if Rafa stayed, what were they hoping for? Honestly, what could Newcastle realistically have done? I mean, I know they're 13th, but they're safe. I think for Newcastle now, the prime objective of the season is to stay in the league for them.
I think Newcastle. I'm probably going to hurt a lot of Newcastle fans when I say this. They expect too much.
They're a big club. They're a passionate club. They're a club who deserves better than Mike Ashley. But until Mike Ashley is gone, the best they can really hope for is Premier League survival. And that's the meat and gravy of it. Until Mike Ashley goes, that club will be stuck in a cycle of trying to survive in the Premier League, occasionally going down and then coming back up. Massive club, great fan base, bad owners, lack of ambition. Until they get rid of that shackle. When they get rid of that shackle, the sky's the limit. But until then, it'll be Steve Bruce and fucking John Joe Shelby roaming around the midfield. Watford. Not Big Nige, Shaky, Rescue, SOS, the Dream Team, Anton Deck, Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men, keepers in the league, easy peasy. Really, really, I don't care. Wherever not, I don't. Obviously, Leicester have a bit of a history of Watford. I don't necessarily like Watford as a club, personally.
No,
but wherever Shaky and Nigel goes, a piece of me goes. I love the two men, and I want Watford to do well because I want Nigel Pearce and I want Craig Shakespeare to do it. As a Leicester fan, everything Leicester are today, make no mistake about it, Nigel Pearson has done more for this club than any other manager has. By a country mile. I know people can say Ranieri this, Ranieri that. You stick it up your arse. Pearson is the man. Everything, this club, the cherry on the top of the cake, that's Ranieri and Brendan Rodgers. All the layers underneath, all the batter, all the eggs, all the flour, that's all Pierce, that's all Nigel.
I think if you're a Watford fan,
you've done bloody well to get
this. And you're watching this, he might not have been your first choice. He might not be your classy overseas manager that's going to come in and bring that that fantastic football that a lot of fans crave. One thing he will bring, and in the long run, and you have got to give him time. Because
he's only there for the end of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think if he keeps him up, they need to keep him on permanently. And what he will do is he'll
unite that dressing room, won't
he? He won't just turn your performances around on the pitch. He will build a club, from your backroom staff to your youth player team, your sports science to your starting 11. Yeah, he will build a club, and in the long run, you will benefit. You've only got to look at Leicester right now. That we are still reaping the benefits.
Everything now, the foundation is all built. I know the owners at Leicester get a lot of praise, and rightly so, but all under the stewardship of Nigel Pearson, all the hard work was done. All the foundations laid into place. 100%. Watford, I hope you stay up because of Nigel Pearson. Two penalties for Troy Deeney. A big win for you. I think there's a big game coming against West Ham. I think that'll be a crunch game.
Ooh.
But Watford, I think you have got some talent in the side. Ismail Assar, good player. Kapue, decent. Yeah. I'm not too keen on your back four. Ben Foster's solid enough though. But under Pearson, he'll get the best out of your squad. He'll unite the dressing room. And if you are going to stay up, you've got the best chance of doing it with Shaky and Pearson at the helm.
Burnley, the champions at home to Burnley, 1-1, I believe.
1-1.
Was it a slip up? Was it a case they've already won it? They're on the beach. Did Burnley put up a fight? What was?
I think.
What was your thoughts on that one?
There's one reason, one word why this game finished 1-1, and that is Pope. Not the Catholic leader, the man between the sticks for the Clarets. He was superb. And I don't know about you as an England fan. I would much rather have Nick Pope in goal, Jordan Pickford. 100%. I know Pickford's better with his feet, and I think that's what holds Nick Pope back. He's not very good with his feet, but as a goalkeeper, as a shot stopper,
that's questionable.
As a shot stopper, I think he's absolutely superb. He was on fire against Burnley, and then you know what Burnley are like. If you've watched Burnley play once, you've watched Burnley play 1,000 times. 4-4-2, pragmatic, stay in the game as long as we can, put the ball into the box, we'll get a set piece, we'll get a chance. And that's what happened. They got a set piece, they got a chance, and well, in the end, they could have won it. I think Goodmanson missed an absolute sitter at the end, missed an open goal practically. So
Yeah, I don't see the obsession with these goalkeepers need to be good with the feet. You know, I think it's. I think the problem with that is I think Pep brought that over. Pep brought that over. You know,
Yeah.
this obsession that keepers have got to be as good as your outfield players. I think it's a myth. And then you know, okay, yes, in this modern day, the keepers are a lot more involved than what they were years ago. But you know, if you're in trouble or if you're in any doubt,
If in doubt, get
stick
it
it in the
out. First,
stands.
first,
Stick it
first
in the
thing you get taught
stands.
as a
You know,
kid. If in doubt, get it
yeah.
out. I mean, we
I
know as
don't.
Leicester fans how many times all we get sold on Kasper's Marco is how good his distribution is. It's a
Yeah.
bit. He's not. His
Yeah.
distribution
Well,
hasn't been good in 5 years.
if it ever has, to
I
be
mean,
honest. But
fucking hell, he picks out. He's picked out Brendan Rodgers more times than anyone else this season. Every goal kick is off the pitch.
no,
So,
no, you
but
don't.
Liverpool, the champions. What
But
we saying about them? On the
well,
beach,
they've had a
done the job.
stormer. They've had a yeah. I think they're done and
Best team,
dusted.
best
You know,
team in Europe.
they're out of the Champions League. Obviously, that's still going to go ahead over in Lisbon at some point. So they've really got a great deal to play for now.
That point,
They've
it's that
walked it,
point, it's
haven't
that
they?
points total, isn't it? That record they're trying to break. I mean, I think it
Yeah,
wasn't through
but
lack of effort. As I said, I don't think it's through lack of effort that they didn't win. I think it was just Burnley on the day was superb. Nick Pope on the day was superb, and yeah, I think that's
yeah.
sometimes you just got to take your hat up and say, well done to the opposition.
I think with Liverpool, man for man, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but I think man for man, they aren't better than Man City. I don't think
No,
they are.
that
I think they're a well balanced, well organised. They've got the flair, but they've also got that steel that can rough up the games when the going gets tough. And I think that's been the difference for them this season. They can go to places, probably your Burnley's a great example. They can go to places like that, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be rough. They're going to get kicked and chucked all over the place, and they've got players that are going to stand up and want to match them. Whereas I think Man City, now Company's gone. Can't think of many players that really want to get in a tussle.
that's
The,
their Achilles heel, isn't it? The back four or the back five. Back four really at City. I think you play City, you're going to be under the cosh. You know they're going to pass
yeah,
you to death. You know they're
100%.
going to cut you open, but
Yeah,
you also know there's going to be a moment you're going to get a chance. You know
yeah,
if you
no,
get in between, you get behind that midfield, you can get at that back four.
yeah, no, 100%. Like I say, but no, as for Liverpool, they've had a great season, and I think it pains most fans to accept that. But it was inevitable. It was coming, even with COVID trying to put a stop to it all. But it was inevitable. It was coming. And I've seen them down at the King Power, and they were unreal. We couldn't stomach them.
Played us off the park. Men against boys.
Yeah.
Next
So
game,
moving
I'll do
on,
this one.
we've
Sheffield
got
United versus Chelsea at
yeah,
Fortress
and
Bramall Lane. 3-0 Sheffield United.
was a potential lifeline thrown out for us as Leicester fans
Yep.
at the time. But we'll talk about that one later. But no, Sheffield United have been fantastic, haven't they? And I think
Surprise package of the season.
they are the
I'm not
surprise package
surprised
of
they're
the
going to stay
season.
up. I always thought when you keep a settled side together and you have a philosophy, and Chris Wilder's done it. He did it in League One. He did it in League Two of Northampton. He took them up. He did it in League One with
Yeah,
Sheffield United, and then to the Championship, and then to the Premier League. But I think
yeah,
how well they've done, how well those players who have adapted, your John Flex, your Bulldogs, your Ender Stevens, Jack O'Connell's, how well they've adapted to the Premier League, how seamlessly they've made the step up.
yeah.
I mean, even David McGoldrick scored too. David McGoldrick. David McGoldrow, as he was famously branded when we were linked with him all those years ago.
Yeah, Sheffield United. I'll hold my hands up to every Sheffield United fan out there, and I said you go back down. I just couldn't see you staying.
They didn't seem to invest well, did they? In the summer,
You
especially.
look at this. No. When you see that the signing, Ollie McBurn, and you think, you look at this bloke, and I know I've just spoke about players not looking the real deal, and he is that. The
Scottish Harry Kane.
He looks so untidy,
Gangly,
looks
awkward.
clumsy, and he just doesn't look like a footballer, does he? And you see him signing them players, and I think they signed that player from Preston. I'm trying to think of his name now.
Callum Robinson. He's gone on loan to West Brom. He flopped.
Yeah. He flopped. He didn't. But fair play to Wilder. They stuck to the three at the back or the five at the back, whichever way they play. And and this overlapping centre halves system that they use, and it works. teams just can't cope, and just when you think they've been found out, they bounce back and batter Chelsea 3-0. So, yeah, I think they have had a great season. They have been the surprise package. Can they keep it up next year?
Second season syndrome.
Yeah, that can be a real stinger for some clubs, and whether they can keep it up, I'm not sure. Wilder just seems to fit their club.
Sheffield United fan, isn't he? But yeah, Sheffield United, breath of fresh air. Let's move on to Frank's boys. Frank Lampard.
Yeah, Chelsea started the season a little bit hit and miss, and you're thinking to yourself, it's not this appointment of Frank Lampard. That the old loving that was going on for so many weeks, and it ain't going to work out for him. And Abramovich is well known for pulling the axe on many managers.
Frank's kind of got that cash in the bank, and he's got a lot of what's the word? A lot of credit already stored up in the bank for what he's done for Chelsea.
He has, and he signed. He didn't sign a great deal because obviously they had the transfer ban. I think they only had
that was already pre-done. What a signing that! What a player, by the way. What a player Christian Pulisic is. I didn't realise how good he was when he joined from Dortmund. Honestly, I'll be honest. What a player! I mean, I never lost Hazard, but I can't think of someone else they could have replaced him with better. And was it 40, 50 million?
Something along those lines, and yeah, he came in. I think he struggled to start with. He didn't. He trying to find his feet.
Since the lot, though, no. He's came back and he's looked like George bloody Best. But yeah, Chelsea top four for you. Hope not.
Well, yeah, I hope not. I think they will. Yeah, I think
signed
they will.
Ziyech already and Timo Werner for next season.
I don't think it's a case of they have turned it around. Don't get me wrong, and for fair play to Frank, he's stuck with the young lads. Mason Mount's played a great Sorry, he's played a
Reece
lot of
James, Tamori,
Reece James.
Yeah,
he's played. He's stuck with the youngsters, and let's not remember that Mount, Tamori, and was it Abraham all playing Championship football.
Yeah, Abraham at Villa, Thingy and the other two at Derby.
He's shown faith in them. They've come in, they've done a good job. And at the moment they're sat third. I think they'll get top four.
Good first season then for Frank, all in all.
Yeah, so like I say, Chelsea, Sheffield United, just as we finish off there, Sheffield United, great season. Looks like they're going to get some form of European football, as will Chelsea.
Yeah.
A bit of a shock result. So yeah, moving on to Brighton v Man City, and well, it was one.
Brighton safe really. On the beach.
Yeah,
that's it. Brighton safe. That they've lived to fight another death, and they're pretty happy with that. And now, City turned up, and City, they've just got such good ability on the ball. I think they've just got the swagger, the ability to dismantle any Premier League team, especially those who are not at it. Raheem Sterling hat-trick.
Yeah. Brighton fans, by all means, stick this in the comments. And Graham Potter, what I'd like to hear people's opinions of him, because when I watch them play, they don't play bad football. They play some pretty good stuff. They look after the ball, they move it around pretty well, but they just can't. They create chances. They just don't seem to take us. They don't seem to score many, and that seems to have been their Achilles heel this year. Even though Neil Maupay, he's banged in 10 goals, 11 goals this season, which isn't a bad return for the first season, but I don't know. They've just not been clinical enough. And I know I'm not expecting them to get anything at Man City, but they just, I think they were very much a nearly side. I think they've got a side which has got potential to not be in a relegation battle.
I think they're a bit soft. Hey ho, Man City then 5-0, easy for them. Raheem Sterling on fire, hat-trick for him.
It's easy pickings, isn't it? They've been
superb.
They've been something else since the lockdown.
Probably the best runners. Probably them and probably the best runners up ever. Maybe that's a shout.
I'd probably say.
Oh, incredible!
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many points Man City.
Two best teams in Europe right now: Liverpool and Man City for me.
Yeah, I would agree. With Man City, Jamie O'Hara said this on TalkSport, and I know TalkSport. A lot of people will say he's full of.
You know what?
Yeah, I'm not going to swear on stream, but you know where I'm going with it. Yeah, that's exactly that. But he did make a good point. He said once this lockdown's over and football comes back, Man City will be the best performing side.
It's all about football ability.
Man for man and talent, they have got fantastic players, and they don't thrive off a crowd. No. They don't thrive off an atmosphere. and they're going to be going to places where it's going to be completely empty.
Well, you've been to the
They're not going to
Etihad.
have that
If
added pressure.
if they thrived off atmosphere, City would be full.
Yeah, exactly.
Here
They'd be in a spot of bother. Yeah.
Here a pin drop.
So, and I think he's right, because they're good anyway.
Oh,
Aren't they? There's no doubt about that. But they've been another level since the comeback, and they've kind of blew sides away. And
let's be honest, Man City. Growing up, Man City were nothing. Let's be frank. They were nothing. I preferred them like that, because they were the the underdog in the city. They were always scrapping. Dries Vassell, Georgios Samaras, Joey Barton,
John
Gota, Nicky Weaver, Paul Dickoff.
Yeah.
That's the Man City I used to like.
Yeah, they were the better side of Manchester.
The real side of Manchester.
Now you don't. I don't like either side.
You can appreciate they play good football, and you appreciate they're a great team, but from where the clubs came from to where the club is, it just stinks a bit of plastic. I'm sorry, it does.
Yeah. So, moving on, Wolves v Everton. I believe this was a 3-0
comfortable. 3-0. I think watching the game, Everton tried to match Wolves up playing that 3 at the back system, and looks absolutely useless. Look, honestly, I was watching that game thinking, how the hell did they beat Leicester? How bad are we to get turned over by this? Everton, good on paper, god awful they were against Wolves.
Yeah,
god awful. Wolves, good team. Once again, they always play the same way, don't they? And lots of ability, lots of talent, and they took them to the cleaners.
I think with Everton, the old Ancelotti's gone in there, and all the Everton fans think they're going to all of a sudden become a top 4 side, and that's not going to happen, and I don't think it will happen, unfortunately. Nope. It takes a long time, and sometimes you can have a bit of a freak season, and it happens. But I think they've got a lot of rebuilding to do.
They've
got a couple of good players, but the midfield to me doesn't scream out quality.
Sigurdsson he seems to have gone backwards. Maybe that's harsh. That seems to have gone backwards this year. Tom Davis, I'm not having Tom Davis at all. I think he's championship at best.
Yeah, very average. And they lost old Gay over to PSG, didn't they? So
yeah. That was the bite, wasn't it? That was the real bite in midfield they had.
Yeah, and Sigurdsson, he scores the odd worlder, set piece specialist, so to speak.
Goes missing though, I feel. I didn't even know he was playing against Wolves the other day. So yeah, Everton, I think a few more seasons of underwhelming finishes, I believe, for the Toffees.
Yeah, will they give him money to spend in the summer?
Probably.
I don't know.
Everton have spent pretty big recently. I don't think they've got it right.
Yeah, he's not a magic. He's not a magician. He's going to need to spend some form of cash at some point. Everton fans.
So basically, Everton flat, Wolves decent, Wolves top 6.
Yeah,
nailed on.
Yeah. I think so. They've had 2 great seasons. Yeah. I know they've spent another club that's spent
not
money,
so much when they've been in the Premier League, but they definitely. I don't care. They didn't earn their way out of the Championship. They definitely bought it. There was.
Yeah. Oh.
100%. I through my dad. There was his company he worked for had a box at Molineux a few years ago. And we used to go down occasionally when Leicester were away. We'd go to Wolves games, and this was before all this money came in, and they got all these. Probably the year before, and they were shite. I mean, they when you see a team and you think they're moving in the right direction. Wolves were not that team. They looked like they were going backwards, and all of a sudden, all this money comes in. Neves is there, Body's there, Jota's there. Yeah. Saiss is there. Who else is there? So.
Jimenez.
I think that one in the Championship. Bonatini, he was Premier League. Bonatini was there. Helder Costa, Cavallero, and it just went fucking off the scale.
I'm not, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from them. They do play some good football, and they're very hard side to play down as well.
Yeah. But another club that, without the investment, wouldn't be where they are. But they've made the most of it. They spent well. So, good.
I can't knock them for that, and I think they'll sustain Premier League. I think for a good few seasons to come.
The Villa Palace, the Vile.
This one. Well, it was a big one for both teams, wasn't it? Really, Villa probably more so.
Palace. I think everyone was saying Palace from the beach. I don't know how many games they'd lost in a row, but Roy gave them the rocket up the arse, and this was supposed to be the game they got things moving again. I know Palace is safe, but it never really got going, did it?
No, and I must admit, Villa, start of the season, they came up, and all I seen across social media was what they were going to do, where they were going to finish, who they were signing, and you know they were going to be the biggest club in the Midlands again. And fair play to them, you know they were very optimistic. But we know, as well, and other clubs know, when you first come up, you know, regardless of whether you was in the Premier League 2 or 3 seasons ago, it's never easy.
You can't just wave
and
the
they've
checkbook
gone out
out
there,
and guarantee a top 10 finish.
No, and they've gone out there and spent, you know, 100 million. I'm sure it was 100 million. It may have been more, could have been less. I'm not sure. And they've spent a lot of money, and for what really? They've struggled, massively struggled.
Well, look at the signings.
You know,
When you play Villa, who are you worried about? Grealish.
No one.
And Grealish, only Grealish, because all
Grealish,
Grealish does, and I don't care, all he does is get his arse in the way and hit the deck and win free kicks. That's all he does. That's all he does. But who else are you bothered about? Wesley? No. Who? Matt Target? He's okay. Nakamba? He just gets it and gives it. Douglas Luiz?
No.
They're not a good. They're not a good side. Take Grealish out of the equation.
No.
You know they did not invest well, which is
No,
surprising because Dean Smith coming from Brentford, where he recruited exceptionally well. To summarise it, Villa, they came up, just threw the cash around. I don't know if there's a massive plan behind it, and it's came up short, and I think they'll go down.
Very naive, I think.
Yeah,
I think very naive. You know, again, you know, I'm not a massive fan of Villa in all honesty, but they didn't help themselves. They did not help themselves. They've kind of set up to fail. They've set up for rival fans to go in hard when it comes, because I think it will come. They will go down. I just can't see them getting out of it. I really can't. Palace
down tools. I mean, and we even talk about who scored the goals. It was Trezeguet who scored both goals for Villa. But these Palace, they just flat. Not much about them. Zaha, I'm not believing the hype. I'm sorry, never have, never will. Benteke, no, not for me. Townsend, he scores a banger every now and then, but not having him either. I'm sorry, no, I'm not having Palace. I think they've just gone stale under Roy. I think he keeps them up, and I think that's enough for the owners. I don't think there's. I think there's a lack of ambition at the.
Very much.
They're just happy to be here, make up the numbers. I'd be very frustrated if I was a Palace fan.
I think with Palace, I think you're right. There's a lack of ambition there, and Roy, he's doing a good job of what he's got. And you know, their side, you know, I look at that back four, and Jesus, I don't know how they stay up with it. I really don't. You know, there's no pace about them. There's no footballing ability. It's just
pretty sharp.
Well, maybe Van Arnold is the exception, but you know, you've got James Tompkins when he plays. You've got Matt Kelly when he plays. You know, Scott Dan. You know, there's not. It doesn't.
Sacco.
As a Palace fan,
Bambi and nice.
It's not. It's no Martin Kelly should have said, not Matt Kelly. I don't know where that one come from.
Joel Ward.
But Joel Ward. You know, it's a very much old school back four. You know, big, tall, physical. You know, win your battles, and I think you need that sometimes. 100%. You know, you look at Leicester the year that they stayed up. I know we'll keep referring to Leicester, but it's the easiest option to go to. But you know, you look at the year we stayed up. You know, very physical. You know, stubborn, very structured. You know, and I think Palace are like. But you know, there comes a time where you've got to break out of that, and you've got to try and improve. And they don't seem to be. They don't seem to be improving. No. Every year, it's just relegation battle. Then they'll get out of it, and then they just settle for.
So they hit the 40 points, and then they just think, "Oh, job done." Here we go, job done. Yeah. Flip flops off. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, and I think it's only a matter of time till Zaha goes. He is overrated.
Oh,
he is. And
God,
I'm not having any nothing.
No, he's horrendously overrated. Right, enough about that. Let's go on to the North London derby.
Would have been the big one, but it was played behind closed doors for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Spurs 2-1. Who got the goals? It was Alderweireld and Son. Lacazette. Arsenal took the lead, of course, and well, then I think Arsenal just sort of hit the self-destruct button. I think it was Kolasinac played an absolutely god-awful pass back to David Luiz.
He did. Yeah.
I mean, I do feel for Mikel Arteta. I mean, when he's trying to implement all these new philosophies, all this style of play, and then he's having to rely on David Luiz, Kolasinac, and Skodran Mustafi.
Yeah, again. Patience is key to Arsenal.
2.5 men at the back. They are shite.
And I am going to throw this out there, and whether you call it, I don't know what they call it on YouTube now, when you kind of slag someone else off doing something. But Arsenal, yeah, digging them. Arsenal fan TV, have a serious word with yourself, because you are an embarrassment.
I enjoy them.
I can't stand it.
I think when you watch them, it's you can see how, not necessarily the host of it, but the other fans, you can see how biased they are, and how red tinted glasses they all have. I mean, they think every.
I just can't stomach. I can't stomach how deluded.
Yeah,
they
it's
are.
it's very biased, isn't it, towards Arsenal?
And I get that. It's
their club.
Created.
Yeah.
It's created for their club, isn't it? You know, and I get.
They know who's the entertaining, controversial characters, and I think they know some of them. Yeah. They get them on there because they know they're talking a load of shit. They get them on there because they know they're talking a load of shit.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
They're passionate. Yeah. I enjoy watching it. I think there's a place for it. I think there's a place for it, but it's a bit over the top. But yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea, and I think they'll accept that.
It's definitely not mine. But anyway, back to the actual football. Yeah, Spurs. Well, they've been very hit and miss. Mourinho, you know, I know I compared him to Moyes earlier, which is an extreme statement, but in the best way to describe it, really, you know, Mourinho, he won everything, didn't he? You know, Porto, Champions League, domestic titles. He come to Chelsea, won a lot of domestic stuff. Went to Madrid, you know, did the same. Inter. He was very successful. You know, probably one of the best managers in the world at the time, alongside Pep and maybe a few others. But then he come back and he went to Chelsea and he won the league, and you know, he looked at his best as per. And then they collapsed the following season. Now there's rumours that there was fallouts, that he'd done this, he'd done that, and maybe so. Yeah. I don't know. But after that season, something in Mourinho's head, or for some reason, he's lost his mojo. And wherever he goes, it just.
Do you think the game's moved on? Do you think the way he handles players has moved on?
Yeah, I think
he's not evolved with the times.
No, I think some managers they do the struggle.
I think maybe with Mourinho, I think he's stubborn. I think he knows what got him success at Inter Milan, Chelsea, Porto, and he thinks that that worked then. Why won't it work now? And I think with Tottenham as well, you looked at Tottenham under Pochettino, and you saw that there was a bright future for Tottenham. You saw they're a club going forward. In Mourinho, I don't feel like they're a club going forward. I feel like they're very much a club in transition still, and I don't think Mourinho's there for the long haul.
I think Spurs have missed the boat. I really do. They had that season, that breakthrough season. I want to call it the breakthrough season because it was when they kind of pushed us right to the very end. Yeah. And I think that's when they really put their stamp on the league. That, you know, we're here to stay and we're
challenge for a while.
Challenge. And they did for the next couple of seasons. They did, and like I say, get to the Champions League final last season, and you think to yourself, you know, Spurs are really hitting the ground running here. That, you know, they're really picking up some
13 months ago, they're in the Champions League final. Now, what, are they 10th in the Premier League? I would have stuck with Poch. Personally, I would have stuck with Poch.
Yeah, that's again another one. You know, comments in the box, 100%. You know, definitely. You know, give us Spurs fans. You know, losing Poch. You know, what was that the right decision? I'm not.
I know things weren't going well at the time. But I think for longevity, I think Pochettino. I just don't see a direction under Mourinho for Spurs. I just don't see where they're going. I don't see it as a long-term solution. I feel like they're a club moving forward with a project under Pochettino, under Mourinho. I just don't see. I don't see them. I don't see what they're going to do. I just don't know what's going on with Tottenham. Could be wrong. They could turn around and get top 4 next year and be really strong. I'm sure they'll have a good season, but I just felt there was more promising, more of a project going on underneath Pochettino. It must be so frustrating for Arsenal fans and so frustrating for even the players like Aubameyang, Lacazette. And look at Lacazette; he scores an absolute worldie, and then 2 minutes later he's got to watch blockhead Kolasinac give the ball away and pass it to Son and put him through on goal. You want to do this one now, or do you want to do this one at the end?
No, we'll do this one now. Let's get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way.
Bournemouth the big one. 4, Leicester City 1.
Yeah, this. Where do we start?
First half. Let's start with the first half. Started very well for the Foxes. Bournemouth there for the taking, controlling the game, easy as you like. Yeah. And then one that should have been more than one at half time. Let's be frank. We should have been more than 1-0 up. And second half, I just thought we're going to go out, more of the same. We'll break them down. Happy days. Brendan Rodgers, hang your head in shame. Hang your head in shame. Awful.
I know all night we've been saying, Newcastle fans and other fans, you're expecting too much, and you're probably going to say,
we are
contradictive.
North, we were there. 12 years ago in League One. We know that we've got it as good now as we're probably ever going to get it as a Leicester fan.
But I can't help but feel
every game is in isolation. Yes, if in retrospect, if you look out in hindsight at where we are, yes, we're happy. But every week is a new game, and every season is a new season, and you have to judge that season in isolation.
Yeah, no, it's forgetting the game a second. I know we're discussing the game, but if you look at the season as overall, especially from our point of view, we're Leicester fans, and you have the first half of the season that we were blowing teams away. We looked like, in fact, I went as far as saying I thought we were better than the team that won.
Oh no, we are technically a far superior team.
We were playing some fantastic football. We were blowing sides away. We were scoring. The 9-0 win at Southampton. Yeah, we were on top of the world, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, something has gone wrong somewhere, and I can't quite put my finger on it. There's people who have their own opinions. I strongly believe there's more to it than meets the eye, but again, we have got a young squad. I think the average age is like 23.
I'll tell you what the problem is. Technically, we're very good. We're a very good team technically, and Brendan Rodgers, I'm pretty sure he's a very good coach, very good manager. But mentality-wise, we are piss weak. We haven't got a big game in us. Any big game, any ounce of pressure on a game, we fold like a deck chair. If a team wants to get at us, we will fold. If a team wants to roll over us and let us play football, we'll pass you off the park and we'll beat you 3-4-0. But if you want to get in our faces and make it nasty, you may as well get the 3 points now, because we've not got the stomach for a fight. Yeah. We've not got the bottle. We've not got the backbone. And that's the biggest difference between this team and the team that won the league. Yes, this team is far better in terms of technical ability, how we keep the ball. But in terms of steel, grit, in the trenches when things are going tough, who am I looking at? Who's going to get me out of there? Madison? No. Madison. Tillemans? Probably not. Jose Perez? No. Barnes? No. Chilwell? No.
Chilwell? No.
No. Sorry.
And I think that's been.
And there's nothing more frustrating as a fan when you look at your team, and if they get beat and they've worked their socks off and they've grafted and they've fought, you say fair enough. When you look at your team and you just think, you pussies. And that's what I thought when we played Bournemouth. It's what I thought when we lost to Villa in the Carabao Cup semi-final. It's what I thought when we lost to Everton. It's what I thought pretty much any big when we rolled over against Liverpool, when we rolled over against City twice. I looked at us and thought, utter bottle jobs. You didn't get outclassed there. You got outfought. You didn't have when it came to it. You shit your lines.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We don't deserve top 4.
No, we don't. I agree. And as for the game itself, like you say, the first half, it went well. It did go well. Well, I say well. We were all over them. It probably should have been 2-3 in all honesty. But was it a case of Bournemouth being really bad? I don't know. I
just think Bournemouth are a bad side. I'm sorry, I think they are just a bad side. And I think if we turn up second half, we beat them. Don't worry on Bournemouth. You've done very well as a club. Eddie Howe's done very well. I just think you've ran your race in the Premier League. I think you've had a lot of injuries that have hampered you. David Brooks.
Bad investment.
David Brooks, by the way, superb player. I like David Brooks a lot. But injuries, Callum Wilson injuries. But half-time, taking Iheanacho off, bringing on Dennis Pratt. Ugh. Sum it up. I don't think Bournemouth were good. I think we hit the self-destruct button, and if we were playing Dunfermline under 7s, we'd have lost in that second half. We hit the self-destruct button.
I can understand what he's saying. Iheanacho wasn't having his best game. He wasn't. His first touch didn't seem as snappy as usual, and he was misplacing a few passes. He didn't look his normal self, but he was still getting in good positions. He was still moving. He was still creating space for
Still a threat.
The balance of the team he did assist the goal. He did assist the goal. So I don't know. I really do not know what his thinking was. It will probably go down as one of the worst decisions the Leicester managers made in a long time.
I was listening after the game to various forums, and I was trying to think myself. People saying it's the worst 45 minutes of football they've ever seen from a Leicester team. And I'm trying to rival.
I would probably agree.
I'm trying to think from the position we were in, how dominant we were at half time. I'm trying to think, have I ever seen and the goals as well, the errors, the nature. They've got Soyuncu,
Really
Boots, and
poor.
Callum Wilson when he's in the net.
Yeah,
I think personally that's the worst
Not
45
ideal.
minutes of football. I mean, I've had a season ticket for 16 years. I've seen some shite. We've seen some real shite, but I don't think I've ever seen a worse 45 minutes of football. We down tools, we were weak, spineless, and Bournemouth, at the end of the day, they outfought us and they thoroughly deserved the win.
Yeah.
Thoroughly deserved.
Enough of our lot, because we'll end up on a rant and we could be here for another half an hour. But Bournemouth, like I say, they turned around the second half. We did assist in
hitting the self-destruct button,
in that performance.
but they can only beat what's in front of them.
Yeah, and they did what they had to do. They've put themselves in a good position. I think they're only a point from safety now.
It's a bit too little, too late though for me. Bournemouth. I still think Bournemouth will go. Then again, I don't think it was so much Bournemouth being good as much as absolutely shitting our lines. I think they've had a good run in the Premier League. Bournemouth. I like them as a club. Don't think they've done anything wrong, but I think Bournemouth will go down.
Yeah, I think the bottom three as it is will go down.
Manchester United, Southampton. Manchester United, one of the form teams in the division, breathing down our necks. Had the chance to overtake us yesterday. Didn't. 2-2. Rashford and Martial for United. Armstrong. And then a 97th minute, was it? Equaliser from Michael Obafemi.
Yes. Yeah. Well, like at the time, I think we were live streaming some FIFA, so it's I wasn't staying keeping tabs.
No.
I've heard De Gea.
I've seen the highlights. I think it was from a corner. It looked soft. The equaliser, the 2-1. It sort of just dropped to him in the 6-yard box, and he's done well, the lad, to put it in. But it's a soft. You'd be disappointed to concede it.
Yeah,
it's one of them.
Yeah, but United, in all honesty, I was expecting them to blow Southampton away and for us to drop out of the top five. I thought it was inevitable, and then it was going to be the uphill struggle. But United, they're always the gift that keeps on giving, aren't they? Just when you think they've turned a corner, they go and do something like that. And yeah, a shocker. Southampton have been in bad form.
Nope.
In all honesty,
beat City, didn't they? Beat City, won at Norwich.
United again. I know I'm going back to what O'Hara said on TalkSport about Man City, and I think United are very similar in that respect. A lot of youngsters in the squad that, when you've got 80,000 fans, all expecting, they're expecting so much. I think some of them younger players, they just can't.
It's hard. It drains them.
Live up
it
to
drains them. Yeah. And I think now the shackles are off, that there's no one there, they can just express themselves, and they are some bloody good players there. Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, James, super. Wan-Bissaka?
That's
not
Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka.
And and I just think as a player, if you've got fans on your back, you're reluctant to play that risky
you don't want the ball, do you?
Your first touch, you don't
You're
want the ball.
Looking backwards instead of forwards. You're not trying to do that killer pass. You have him, Pogba? I think on his day, I think he's got everything. He's got
technically very
physically
good.
Very good.
I don't think
mentally that's where it is with Pogba, isn't it? It's the commitment, mindset. Yeah.
I don't think his mindset's quite there. But technically very good. And like you say, on his day,
unplayable.
He can pull off some. Yeah, he can. He's I think a lot of them.
You can't be. You're not a bad player and win a World Cup.
No. He was very good for France, weren't he, at the time? But I think he's definitely up there. It's just his mindset's not been quite there, and I think with all the rumours and the fans pick up on it, and they give him stick from the stands, and I think he lost all that motivation. Whether he's got it back, and is yet to be seen. But no, they're picking up form at the right time.
United. I fully expect them to finish above us in the top. I fully expect United to get Champions League football. I think that if they get it, of course they deserve it if they finish there. But I think we'll miss out.
Yeah, I think we'll.
I think with the top four will be Liverpool, City, United, and Chelsea.
Just before we finish off, Southampton. There, Gaffer.
Hasenhüttl.
He's. I've seen a lot of Leicester fans say that if Rodgers did go, and I know that's a big shout. He's just had a 5-year contract. But if Rodgers did go, people were saying they'd go in for him.
Since that 9-0 drubbing, since we beat them 9-0, he's probably been in the top 3 managers of the season, I'd say. The way he's picked them up and got them going.
Yeah, I expected him to
Superb.
get sacked.
After that 9-0?
I
Yeah.
expected him to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The way he's come back, like the second dawn of Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, superb.
I thought he was, definitely thought. But no, Southampton as a whole, Danny Ings, you know, he's been fantastic this season, hasn't he? Was he on 18 goals, 19 goals, something like that? He's
certainly got the best out of Minnie Hassan-Hootel.
I think he's been fine. But again, will he be snapped up in the summer? This is the problem, I think, in the Premier League.
Especially with Southampton, that culture, that selling club culture. You get labelled as a selling club. It sticks, doesn't it?
It does. And I think their problem is they're a very good side, Southampton, but the problem with the Premier League in this day and age, especially modern football, a player has a cracking season, and then someone comes straight in for him and they're gone.
Here's a gripe. No team will ever consistently break into the top 6 because as soon as you start showing success, you get picked to bits by the vultures. Yeah. The big clubs come in, lazy scouting. They just come in, wave the wallets around. They take your best players, and then we have to rebuild. We as the clubs in that tier beneath the top 6 have to rebuild, and you have to keep trying to do that consistently because as soon as you show a bit of success, the big clubs just take it away from you.
And I can't see that ever
changing.
No. Honesty, because there's too much money.
And there's not enough loyalty with the players there to say no, we're going to stay at this club and have a good go. No, they're always no.
There's too many big bosses up in the Premier League that, you know, they want the big clubs up there for, you know,
commercial,
the advertising commercial side of things, and so it's never going to change. And I think we'll finish on the fact that, you know, the fact that Leicester are up there, I don't think they like it.
Oh no,
I really don't think they like it, and I think we will get picked to bits eventually. And how long we can sustain trying to push for top 6 is your guess as good as mine. But yeah, so finishing on that note, overall game week 35. Was it 30?
35? Yeah, 35.
Game week 35. Overall, an absolute terrible one for us as a Leicester fan. Very good for Man U, up and down for Chelsea.
Good for Watford.
Norwich, yeah.
Good for Sheffield United.
Norwich, disastrous.
Good for Wolves. Good for Villa. Big for Tottenham. Bragging rights.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure. As always, we will be carrying these series on.
We'll be back next week, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, we'll be. Yeah, whether you like it or not, we will be back, and we'll review game week 36 and 37, and we will prepare for game week 38. So we will be doing predictions as well. So, you know, get your comments in the section below, guys, and make sure you're covering the predictions. But once the season is over, we will carry on. We will keep all the transfer stories. We will have a good chat about the transfers, anything Premier League, you know, sackings, anything. You name it, Premier League, we're covering.
What we'll say is, quickly, if we have offended you with our views, stick it up your arse. We're football fans. We have opinions. If you think we're wrong, tell us we're wrong. If you think we're stupid, tell us we're stupid. Yeah. Tell us why. Let us know why we're stupid. We're just two lads who love our local team.
Yes. I'm going to shoot.
Yeah, round it up.
I will speak to you all later. It's been a pleasure, guys.
Peace.
Adios.